My mom is forcing me to date this rich boy and I don't want to. Hi, my name is Alicia and I'm 16 years old. So growing up, I was middle class. I wasn't poor, but I was middle class. And my dad's business recently had been getting low in the stock market, people stopped investing less, and we were losing money. So my dad's CEO partner has a son, and his son had a crush on me. So his son made a deal with my father. If I dated him, he would give my dad $1.3 billion for the company. And my dad was a little opposed to this at first, especially my mother. But he just looked at the prices and he was like, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. So now I had to pretend to date him. But the problem was he was a spoiled little brat. And he was ungrateful, entitled, and so much more. You will not believe what happens next. Follow for part 2. My mom is forcing me to date this weird rich boy and I don't want to, part 2. So the CEO's son, Brandon, was a spoiled brat. He was also younger than me, which I found really weird. Some of the cringy things he would make me do were like playing Legos with him, playing figurine toys, dressing up like his favorite character. I kid you not, he made me dress up in a Batman and Spider-Man suit. And he was only a year younger than me, but he acted like he was 10 years old. He would make me sniff his socks sometimes. He would want us to shower together sometimes. And I had to live with him 2 days out of a week. I always had to wear makeup and I always had to dress super feminine, like in dresses and heels. But I just like dressing casual. 2 months in, I was getting sick of it, so I decided to confront him. And you will not believe what happens next. Come back for part. My mom is forcing me to date this weird rich boy and I don't want to, part 3. So I went to confront Brandon. I told him he has super high standards and unrealistic standard for women. You can't expect your girlfriend to wear dressy clothes and heels every single day. I told him playing with toys is stupid, especially when you're 15, and that he needs to grow up. I told him that his socks were disgusting and his smell wasn't attractive. I told him I can't live with him for 2 days out of the week and it's driving me insane. I also told him that he was fat, ugly, and disgusting and I don't want to deal with him anymore. He cried and bursted into tears and he ran to his father. His dad scolded me. He put me in his car and drove me all the way to my dad to tell my dad what happened. And he demanded the money back. I started to panic and freak out, but my dad said that he can't give the money back because 1, the deal was through, and 2, we've already used the money for the company. So there was absolutely nothing that the CEO's dad could do about it. The CEO's dad stormed off mad, and nothing happened after that. Shortly after, I got a proper boyfriend, car, and went to college, and I was happy. And now, me and my family are rich, and will be for a very long time. I think my sister is pregnant by my DAD. Hi, my name is Grace, and I'm 16 years old. Let's call my sister Ruby. She's 18, currently turning 19 in a month. And our dad is about 50 years old. So 10 years ago, our mother had died. Our family took a really hard hit to us as our mother was like our light and really kept the family together. My dad was tired of being reminded in the town that they grew up in, so we moved into a new town for a fresh start. We moved to California. My dad was depressed for years and years and years, but one day I suddenly noticed he was extremely happy. I didn't really understand why until I noticed that there was a condom in my father's waste bin. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he just found someone new. But then I remember I went to say hi to my sister one day and I found a condom in her waste bin as well. Now my sister wasn't into hookup culture. And she sure as hell didn't have a boyfriend because she would have let me know. So this was kind of weird, but I decided to brush it off. So one day we were in the car and I noticed their behavior was kind of strange. My dad never lets anybody touch his car, except for when mom was alive. But for whatever reason, he let Ruby touch his car. And they were extremely touchy with each other. Follow for part 2. I think my sister is pregnant by my DAD, part 2. So I've noticed Ruby and my dad are always together. They would always be touchy toward each other, talk to each other about everything. And they made love eyes towards each other. Their pupils would always be dilated. And you know how it looks when someone's in love? Yeah, that's how it looked. He always spoils her nowadays, excessively. And the only person he did that to was our mother. Yeah, he spoiled us, but not as much as our mom. You know what I mean? Because that's our mom. Another thing I noticed as well, that there were no rules for her. Whenever he'd say no, she'd beg and make this cute little face and, little voice or whatever, begging to be able to do the things she wanted to do, and he would cave in. But whenever I asked to do something, he would absolutely say no. So one day, I was cleaning the whole house because I consider myself to be a thoughtful kid. And I was cleaning my dad's bedroom and I found Ruby's bra in there. I rushed to my dad and asked him about what it was, and you will not believe what he said. Make sure to come back for part 3. I think my DAD got my sister pregnant, part 2. So I asked him why my sister's bra was in his room, and he said it was accidental and started sweating and panicking. But I low-key didn't believe him due to his reaction. So a couple of days later, I can hear noises at night, if you know what I mean by noises. 2 people in bed kind of noises. And I thought my sister brought someone in, but I couldn't hear anyone enter the door. So a couple of months later, my sister started puking out of nowhere. Then next thing you know, she announced that she's pregnant and my dad looked so happy he's about to cry. So for her 19th birthday, my DAD gave her a super expensive ring. I said, what are you two, getting married? And I laughed, but they both looked at each other serious and then ended up laughing. So then when my sister gave birth to the children, one looked exactly like my DAD and one looked exactly like my mother. They were twins. It was kind of terrifying and gross to look at. I'm not really sure what to do about the situation, but if it's illegal in the state of California, I definitely will be doing something about it. My English professor became my stalker with receipts. Hi, my name is Francesca and I'm 21 years old. This only happened when I was 18 years old. So it was my freshman year of college and I had this professor. He was cute and every girl liked him, but we didn't know if he was married or not, or if he had kids. He never wore a ring. He had green eyes, red hair, and a clean face. One day, one of our girlies had said if we could get him to take us on a date, she would give us $1,000. I loved money, so I got to work. I started to wear revealing outfits to school and he always eyeballed me in class. I would purposely ask if I could stay after school and he agreed. But I only did this in competition with other girls. One day, he asked me if I could stay after class and I did. He just made small talk with me. He asked me what I like to do, where I like to hang out, all that jazz. He was actually pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. And I felt myself not really wanting to do the challenge and actually want him for myself. But soon after that, I got his number. But this was the first thing he texted me, and this was pretty alarming. And they just told me to brush it off. Soon, I regretted it. You will not believe what happened. My English professor became my stalker, part 2, with receipts. So after he texted that weird information, we continued talking, and he started venting, and it got really emotional off the bat, which was a huge turnoff. But I guess it was nice he was opening up to me at the time as well. This was what he was saying. So then after that, he asked me if I was single and if I was seeing someone. I told him no and that my doors were open. He said, would he be the someone that could possibly enter those doors in secret? I teased and said, I'm not sure. How far would you be willing to go? He suggested taking me out to a nice expensive dinner. So after that, I got dressed in my nicest outfit and he took me to a really expensive restaurant. I'm talking about the kind of restaurant where there's sets of forks, spoons, and knives. I had no idea on how to use them, but then he decided to teach me along the way how to use them, which was nice of him. But this also made me question what kind of person he was and what kind of people he's been around to even know these things. Isn't he just a professor? And by the end of the night, he ended up giving me a ring. A ring! Can you believe it? A ring. And you will not believe what happens next. Make sure to come back and follow for part 3. My English professor became my stalker, part 3, with receipts. So after he gave me the ring, he claimed it was symbolism for our relationship, a new beginning, and that hopefully it will be a wedding ring someday. I was absolutely petrified by the thought of this, considering the fact that this was only a date and I didn't actually want to date someone who was older than me, especially old enough to be my dad. After he dropped me off home, I blocked him on everything and wanted to switch classes to another professor, which I successfully did. I told the girls of what had happened and they were in shock too. But the girl ended up giving me $3,000 because she felt really bad, which was great. Soon, I got a message from an anonymous number and I was scared. I started getting text messages like this weekly. Here's one example. After a while, soon he left me alone. I remember me and my girls went out to the mall one time and I saw him walking with another girl our age. I was scared for her and debating about telling her. So should I tell her? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm finally pregnant with my crush's baby, but I want to abort it. Hi, my name is Blanca and I'm 18 years old. And my current boyfriend is Samuel. I was in love with Samuel since like forever. I had quite an obsession for a period of time. Whenever he would go down the halls, I'd freak out. Whenever he would call my name, I'd freak out. Whenever we'd be partner up for projects by the teachers, I would freak out. There was a point in time where I tried to steal his phone to see what girls he was talking to and ruin their relationship, but I didn't. So one day I needed a date to prom and I took the courage to ask him out. Surprisingly, he said yes. I was shocked. So I went to prom with him and I looked beautiful, as did he. We both basically fell in love that night, but I don't know, something was turning me off from him. Maybe I liked the chase. We ended up playing Twister at a local hotel because both of our parents were too strict for us to enjoy a night together. Everything was really great until I saw him texting some girl on his phone. And I explained to him that this was slightly cheating. Make sure to follow for part 2. I'm finally pregnant with my crush's baby, but I don't want it part 2. So we ended up playing Twister at the hotel and everything was really great until I saw him texting some girl on his phone. I literally told him that this was cheating because he was talking to another girl. And he saw absolutely no problem with it. So I'm going to let you guys be the judge of this. A screenshot is going to appear on the screen. Let me know if he's cheating or not. Because this really aggravated the hell out of me and I'm trying to help him see the point. So that's what he said. And apparently he was just going to go hang with the boys or whatever, but still, this is weird. You know what I mean? So I ended up feeling symptoms of pregnancy and I decided to take a test. And I was pregnant, but I wanted to abort it. I didn't want to keep it. But this is what he said. I told my best friend about it and she said to abort it too. I texted him that I didn't want to be with him anymore and that I'm aborting the baby. The next morning, my tires were off and he told me to go to his car. I literally got so scared, but this is kind of hot.